Can you hear me, everyone? So remember our previous discussion on topic. After topic discussion, now we can start our day one meet. Before start, Palo Alto firewall device. What do you think about firewall box? Anyone? What do you think about firewall? Vinay, Jonas, Mahesh, Ram Prasad. I'm talking about common term. I'm not talking about Palo Alto. Okay, I'm talking about this common term is firewall. What do you think about firewall, everyone?
Something like what do I say? A wall which is not allowing us to go, something like that.
Okay, Vinay, what do you think about firewall?
Firewall is provides means security and allow to means packet to filter and
We can
stop
filter
the
our traffic.
filter the traffic.
Okay. Jonas,
Maybe like a device that monitors and you know
monitor
um
is what? Monitor.
con
You can filter and monitor your traffic, right?
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Ramprasad, dear, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Firewall is a device which helps us to prevent our network from attacks.
Prevent the network, okay, from attacks.
Yeah.
Good. See guys, firewall is what? Firewall, you can say everyone. Please turn off your mic, everyone. If you have any question, you can unmute. So firewall is a system, okay? You can say firewall is a system or group of system that can manage access between network. And see, firewall is just like a router. Remember all this. Firewall is just like a router. For example, you can configure routing on router device. You can configure on firewall, no problem. Okay, you want to configure VPN on router, you can configure on firewall. NAT, yes, you can configure on firewall. So firewall is just like a router. But in firewall, in next generation firewall, we have some advanced features which router cannot provide you. But routing, VPN, NAT, these are what? These are router concepts. These concepts you can configure on firewall. Now, firewall is what? Firewall is a system, okay, or group of system that can manage access between network. Between network means what? Here we have LAN network, WAN network, and DMZ. So what is LAN network? Your private network is called LAN network. Your company private network is called LAN network. What about WAN network? Outside or public side network is called what? WAN. What about DMZ? Any idea? See, LAN we are using for private network. WAN we are using for WAN side, for public side network. But what about DMZ? Yes, Vinay?
I think DMZ to provide the tunnel between means route customer into and firewall या data center like that.
Tunnel. Okay.
Yeah.
Tunnel. Okay. Tunnel is a different thing. Okay. Tunnel is not. Jonas, any idea? Mahesh, why we require DMZ? Because see, my point is what? My point is what? Here I have a
No,
power
sir, I
device.
don't understand. I don't know.
For example, here I have a power device and this firewall I can connect with LAN side. This side is what? LAN portion, for example. LAN side. In LAN side, these are what? Servers. For example, FTP server. This is your FTP server, or this is your web server, DNS server, or SMTP server. And these are computers and some company confidential servers you have in your LAN network site. LAN network site. So you have two portions. LAN side network, LAN zone, and this portion is called what? WAN zone. So I can put all the devices in a LAN zone, and public side is what? Public network. Now, what about DMZ? We're talking about what about DMZ? So see, into this scenario, for example, I have what? LAN network and WAN network. So into the scenario, if I want to allow some traffic from outside, in case if I want to allow some traffic from outside, So to allow our traffic from outside, we need to configure policy. We need to configure policy on firewall device, like we are working with Palo Alto. So we can create security policy. On 14.8, you can configure firewall policy. On checkpoint, you can configure access control policy. On Cisco FTD, you can configure access policy. My point is what you can configure policy to allow your traffic from WAN to LAN side. Yes, I can configure policy. Now traffic is coming from outside, and this outside machine can access FTP server as per my policy. As per my policy, this outside machine, yes, this outside machine can come and hit on firewall device and can access this FTP, can talk to this FTP server. So this is source and this is destination. Yes, I can define. But my point is what? This traffic is coming from outside, right? This traffic is coming from untrusted network. So it may be possible it can try to compromise other devices. As per your policy, this machine can only access FTP server. Yes, but traffic is coming from untrusted network. So it may be possible. It may be possible it can try to compromise other devices. That is the issue. That's why see these servers, these FTP, web server, DNS, MTP, these servers I want to allow publicly. Outside user can access these servers. So I cannot put these servers in LAN side network. That is the issue. What we can do, we can create a separate zone here. Okay, we can create a separate zone. It's called DMZ zone. It's just a name. Okay, you can use any name here. Your name, my name, but technically we are using a word DMZ. You can type anything. Your name, my name. So you can create a separate zone. It's called DMZ zone. This is the switch. And now you can put all your servers. These servers I want to allow publicly. Outside user can access these servers. Okay, web server or FTP server or SMTP servers. So now this time, if outside machine is trying to hit onto the firewall outside interface, if outside machine is trying to hit on outside interface, your firewall will redirect this traffic on DMZ side. So outside traffic is not going on your LAN side. So that's why we need DMZ network. If you want to allow some servers publicly, so you can create a separate zone. You can put all your devices in a separate zone. Hear my point, Jonas, Mahesh, Ram, Vinay?
Sir, I understood, but I have a small question.
Sure.
So how is the DMZ different from WAN? Because when you told us about WAN, it's about accessing everything from outside, like the internet, correct?
Mhm.
So how will DMZ be like a different service altogether, or something that's
See,
integrated
DMZ is
into
just like a
WAN?
LAN. Okay? Mahesh, DMZ is just like a LAN network. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And here you can configure NAT option. You can
Okay.
configure NAT. If anyone trying to hit from outside and will hit onto this public facing interface, as
Okay.
per DNAT configuration, your firewall will automatically redirect this traffic on DMZ servers.
So if I understand, that is the DMZ is for someone who's trying to access my devices, like my network.
Yes.
So I design the DMZ in a way to allow only what I want him to see, or her to see, or whom.
Yes, DMZ we are using for outside. Remember all this.
Only
DMZ
for
networks.
coming into my network, and what is the access I'm giving them to see, whether
Yes.
it is a yes or no, or whatever limit of access I'm giving to say, like read
Yes.
or write something like that. Correct?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sir. Thank you. A little basic, sorry.
No problem.
Just need to understand.
No problem.
Yeah,
Jonas,
go ahead. Sorry, sir. Go ahead.
Jonas, clear? Ram Prasad, dear, any question? Vinay?
Yes, sir.
No question.
Okay, now, so this is what DMZ. So we have LAN, WAN, and DMZ. Now let's talk about firewall technique, okay? Because we have some common technique in firewall device, in any firewall device. Like we have multiple vendors for next generation firewall features, like Palo Alto, 14.8, Checkpoint, Cisco Firepower Threat Defense. So we are talking about firewall common technique. So first common technique is what? It's called stateful firewall technique. stateful firewall technique. This technique is used by any firewall device. Remember always everyone, router is a stateless device. And firewall, any firewall device is a what? Stateful device. So what is stateful? You can say stateful firewall inspection, or you can say stateful firewall technique. So it's a common technique for any firewall device. So what is stateful firewall technique? Wait. Let's talk about scenario. What is stateful firewall? The topic is stateful firewall technique. So for stateful firewall device, I'm creating a small topology. For example, here I have Cisco ASA. For stateful firewall technique, I'm using a firewall device, Cisco ASA. So in case if you are working with Cisco ASA, so this portion is what? Switch. This portion is LAN side network. This portion is WAN side network, ISP side. So in Cisco ASA, here we have predefined keywords in Cisco ASA. For example, this interface is 0/0 interface. This interface is 0/1. So in Cisco ASA, if you go on any interface, in Cisco ASA only, for example, on 0/0 interface, and if you type this predefined keyword is called inside keyword, INSID. If you type this predefined keyword, inside keyword on any interface, for example, on 0/0, so this interface will get a security level 100. So remember always Cisco ASA always work with security level concept, and security level range is in between 0 to 100. So if you go out to this 0/0 interface and if you type this predefined keyword INSID, so this interface will get a security level 100. And if you type any other keyword onto this interface, any other keyword, for example, your name or my name. For example, I'm using what? Outside. So this interface will get a security level 0. Will get a security level 0. Now in LAN side, we have multiple computers. For example, this machine, onto this machine, we are using 192.168.10.10. And this portion is a public side portion. Here we have a server 8.8.8. So why we are creating this topology, everyone? Because we need to know what is stateful firewall technique. So in Cisco ASA firewall device, here we have predefined rule. In Cisco ASA firewall, we have predefined. As per predefined rule, traffic is by default allowed from higher security level to lower security level. No need to configure any policy. In Cisco ASA, no need to configure any policy. Traffic is by default allowed from higher security level to lower security level. So if this inside machine is trying to communicate with 8.8.8, so this traffic will go and hit onto this interface. Then firewall will verify, okay, this traffic is coming from higher security level and trying to go on lower security level. And as per default rule, traffic is by default allowed from higher security level to lower security level. So traffic is traveling, no problem. Traffic is traveling. So when traffic is traveling through the appliance, when traffic is traveling through the power device, then firewall will maintain the state of connection. Firewall will maintain a state of connection in a table, and this table is called what? State table, you can say. Connection table, you can say, state table, you can say. So when traffic is traveling through the appliance, firewall will maintain the state of connection in connection table, and what it maintain? It maintains source IP, source port number, destination IP, destination port. So into this topology, as per our discussion, into this topology, what is source IP does? Traffic direction is what? This 192.168.10.10. is trying to communicate with 8.8.8. So source IP address is what? 192.168.10.9. Source port number, let's take a random port number, for example, 52,000. And this 10.10 is trying to communicate with 8.8.8. So destination IP address is 8.8.8.8. Destination port number, for example, 443. So this is the traffic. So traffic is traveling to outside. Traveling to outside. And firewall will maintain the state of connection in a connection table or in state table. Clear my point? Jonas, Mahesh, Ram Prasad, Vinay.
Yes, sir.
Sir, so some maintains a security table kind of stuff, where it is going, what it's happening, and all that stuff.
Mahesh, can you repeat again?
So it's maintaining like a table, what and how it is going, like a register.
Yes. Cisco not Cisco ASA, any firewall uses this technique. It's called stateful firewall. It means whenever traffic is traveling through the firewall device, through the appliance, firewall will maintain the state of connection.
Okay, okay. So
Okay,
is it for all devices or only particular device?
I told you, I told you, it's for all firewall technique. It's a common technique for any firewall device, Mahesh.
Does it maintain like only 100 or it can be anything less also? Because if I'm not wrong, as I understood, you told maximum is 100, correct?
You're talking about any firewall device or only in Cisco ASA?
I'm generally asking because
I told you this security level technique, it's only related with Cisco ASA firewall.
okay.
Please listen carefully, okay? Cisco ASA works with security level concept.
Okay.
Mahesh, okay?
Okay.
Only Cisco ASA.
Okay.
If you talk, no problem. If you talk about Palo Alto, so Palo Alto is using JBF technique, zone based firewall. I will tell you later, okay? But Cisco ASA works with security level concept. Clear now? Mahesh?
Sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Now, so when traffic is traveling through the appliance, through the firewall device, firewall will maintain the state of connection in connection table. But now, everyone, what about return traffic? Because 8.8.8 will give the reply, right, everyone? What about return traffic? If return traffic will go and hit onto this interface, so you can see now traffic direction is what? Lower security level to higher security level. I told you by default in Cisco ASA firewall, by default traffic is allowed from higher security level to lower security level. Lower to higher, everything is denied. So what about this traffic? If reply packet is going to hit onto this WAN interface, see, remember always, if any traffic will hit on any firewall interface, so firewall will check, is this traffic is a part of any existing connection? Firewall will check always. If any traffic will hit onto the firewall device, firewall will check, is this traffic is a part of any existing connection? So now firewall can verify, okay, this traffic is coming from 8.8.8. Yes, I have entry. And this packet is for 192.168.10.10 port number. Firewall can verify. After verification, firewall can say, okay, this is what? This is return traffic. Why? Because this traffic was initiated from LAN side. It was initiated from LAN side, and it's just a reply packet because I have information in my state table, in my connection table. So this traffic was initiated from LAN side. So it's just a reply packet. So firewall will allow this traffic. Clear now? Clear now? My point, everyone. Mahesh, Jonas, Ram Prasad, Vinay.
Yeah, all good.
Yes, sir.
Vinay, clear for you? Yeah.
Yes, clear.
State. See, so this is not a Cisco ASA firewall technique. This technique is used by any firewall device. It's a common technique. My point is what? What is stateful firewall? When traffic is traveling through the appliance, through the firewall box, then firewall will maintain the state of connection table, and traffic is forwarded to the destination. When reply packet will come, firewall will check this traffic information in connection table. If it is available, allow. Otherwise, drop. Okay, what about next common technique for any firewall vendor? Next technique is called what? You can say layer 3, layer C. It's called. First technique is stateful firewall technique. Second common technique for any firewall device, it's called layer 2 firewall, or you can say transparent firewall. So what is layer 2 firewall box or transparent firewall box? See, it's a common technique for any firewall build. Either you can use your firewall box as a layer 2 firewall box, or you can use your box as a layer 3. Okay. So where we can use our layer 2 firewall box? Wait. So remember, always we can use our firewall box. Either we can use our box as a L3 firewall box, or we can use our firewall box as a layer 2 firewall box. Layer 3 means what? Layer 3 means you can say NAT mode firewall. And L2 firewall means what? Transparent firewall device. So in case if you are working with any L3 box, any L3 firewall box, for example, I have L3 firewall box. So these interfaces are called L3 interfaces. So you can configure IP address onto these interfaces. You can configure routing onto this firewall box. VPN, NAT you can configure. And yes, it's a next generation firewall. So you can utilize next generation firewall features. But in case if you are using your firewall box as a layer 2 firewall box, then you are using this firewall mode, this complete box as a layer 2 firewall or as a transparent firewall. Then in case if this box is acting as a layer 2 firewall box, so these interfaces are L2 interfaces. These interfaces are what? L2 interfaces. It means we cannot configure IP address here. We cannot configure IP address onto these interfaces. We cannot configure routing. We cannot configure VPN or NAT. So with layer 2 firewall box, we have limitation, but it's a next generation firewall. It's a next generation firewall, so we can utilize next generation firewall features, no problem. It's a complete firewall, so we can utilize firewall feature. But in case if this box is acting as a layer 2 firewall box, so you cannot configure IP address on interfaces, you cannot configure routing. It means you cannot connect your layer 2 firewall box with internet. You cannot configure VPN connection. You cannot configure NAT for translation. No, we have limitation. Jonas, Mahesh, Ram Prasad, Vinay, clear? So the point is, in this scenario, in this scenario, we can use our firewall box as a layer 2, because with layer 3 box, we have great feature. If I have a layer 3 firewall box, I can connect with internet. I can terminate VPN connection. I can configure NAT. And yes, I can utilize next generation firewall feature. But in case, if I'm using this box as a layer 2, so we have limitation. So in this scenario, we can use our box as a layer 2 firewall box. Let's talk about scenario. So for example, I'm working in an existing routing switching topology. For example, okay, this is router. This router is connected with switch, LAN side network. So I'm working in an existing routing switching topology. This portion is what? This portion is a LAN side network, your subnet. This portion is what? WAN side network. Now, into this existing topology, now I want to deploy a firewall box as a firewall administrator. Now I want to filter my traffic. My point is what? I want to filter my traffic. So I want to deploy a firewall box here. If you deploy your firewall box here as a layer 3 firewall box, for example, as a layer 3 firewall box. So these interfaces are L3 interfaces. So each interfaces are participating in different subnet, right, Ram? Vinay,
Yes, sir.
each interfaces are participating in different subnet. So now you need to change. My point is what? You need to change your existing IP address scheme. See, now your single subnet is divided into two different subnets, different network, and what? Different name. You can do this, no problem. If you want to deploy your firewall box as a layer 3 firewall box, no problem. You can deploy, you can change your existing IP address scheme, and you can deploy, no problem. You can do this. But in case if you don't want to change any IP address scheme, my point is what? I want to deploy complete firewall box in a live network, and I don't want to change anything. I don't want to change anything in existing network, but I want to deploy a firewall box as a complete next generation firewall. Then you can go with layer 2 firewall. You can go with layer 2 firewall box. And this box is a layer 2 firewall box. So these interfaces are what? These interfaces are L2 interfaces. So no need to configure IP address. So again, you have a single subnet. You have single subnet. And it's a firewall. It's a firewall. So you need to define zone here. Okay. For example, we are working with Palo Alto firewall box. So you can define a name. For example, this is LAN zone interface. This is WAN zone interface. You can give a zone. You can give a zone information only. No need to configure IP address here because it's L2 firewall device. And it's a firewall. So if you want to allow traffic from LAN to WAN, you can configure policy. You can utilize next generation firewall features. Clear now? Jonas, Mahesh, Ram Prasad, Vinay. Mahesh, any question? Mahesh?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. Vinay,
No, sir.
Jonas, clear for you?
Yeah, all good.
So my point is, you can deploy layer 2 firewall box in a live name. Remember always the scenario. Okay, you can deploy your L2 firewall box in a live name where you don't want to change anything. So most of the time, layer 2 firewall we are using in existing data center network. Okay, in existing data center network, if I want to deploy a firewall box, so you can go with layer 2 firewall. But we have limitation. With layer 2 firewall box, we have limitation. Okay, we cannot connect this firewall box with internet, we cannot configure NAT, we cannot configure routing, but it's a next generation firewall, so we can utilize. Okay, so these are what stateful firewall technique and transparent firewall technique. These are the common technique for any firewall device. Now let's talk about Palo Alto. Okay, wait. So we can start our first topic.
Sorry, I have a quick question.
Sure, you can ask. No problem.
Yeah, you talked about layer 2 and layer 3 of firewall a few minutes back. So you said that there are limitations on layer 2. So does that mean that layer 2 is not advisable to be used in real life?
No, you can use Jonas, but my point is what? If you want, for example, if you want to connect internet connection, if you want to configure routing with this layer 2 firewall box, you cannot. That's why we are using firewall box after router. Okay.
Oh.
So for routing feature, for NAT feature, for VPN feature, this router is responsible. Okay.
Oh, gotcha. Makes sense. Yeah. Thanks.
This box you are using for firewall features and next generation firewall features. Okay. Now we can start our first topic, platform and architecture. So let's talk about platform first, okay, like the hardware appliance or VM appliance. So we are familiar with other vendors, okay. For example, we are familiar with Cisco routers, Cisco switches, CDs. So in case if I'm working with Palo Alto firewall, so I need to know the hardware, okay. which hardware is suitable for my organization. For example, if I'm working in a small network or if I'm working in a large network, so which series is suitable for my organization. So this is the series, okay? Everyone, this is Palo Alto series. For example, PA 7000, PA 5200, PA 5000. These series of the firewall devices you can use in a large deployment or you can use in a data center network. For medium-sized network, you can go with PA 3000, 800 or 500. In my slide, okay, I'm using some device information. But if you go on Palo Alto website, you can get other series also, okay. But in my slide, I have some limited series here, okay. So for medium-sized network, you can go with PA 3000 series, PA 800, PA 500. For small network, for entry-level firewall device, yes, you can go with PA 200 series. Okay, let me show you this PA 200. So for small network, you can go with entry-level firewall device Palo Alto 200. This is PA 200 series, everyone. This is PA 200 series. In PA 200 firewall device, what we have 4 data interfaces. These are what data interfaces. So you can connect your LAN network, you can connect your DMZ network, you can connect your WAN network. So these are data interfaces. This interface is what management port. So what you can do, you can connect. This interface is a management port, so you can connect your management PC. For example, you can connect your laptop or desktop with this management port, and you can access this complete firewall box through graphical page. For console access, yes, we have a common port for like other vendor. We can access this firewall device for first time. You can see for first time you can access through console. So this is what PA 200. In case if you go with PA 220, for example, in PA 200 series, if you go with PA 220, so the difference is what in PA 220 we have 8 data interfaces. Only the difference is what we have 8 data interfaces. 8 data interfaces, 1 MGMT port, management port, 1 console. So here we have some series, okay? Some entry-level firewall device, some medium range devices, some high-end appliance. Okay, so if you want to know about product information in Palo Alto, so you can visit this website, paloaltonetworks.com/product/secure the network/next generation for all Palo Alto firewall product. Now let's talk about capability.
Sir, can I have a question?
Yes, you can ask.
So ideally from router, it will go to the Palo Alto and then to the switch? Or
sorry, can you repeat your question?
So in my configuration architecture, it will be the router and then it will be the firewall and then the switch.
Okay, your topology, your question is what you can use router, then firewall, then switch.
Yes.
So I told you it's depend upon scenario. Okay, if you don't want to connect your firewall box directly with internet, so it means you are using your firewall box as a layer 2. If your box is a L3 firewall box, so you can directly connect with internet, no problem. You can configure routing here, you can configure NAT, you can configure VPN. It's depend upon scenario managed, okay? If your box is a
my
layer 2.
question is like on an ideal functionality, right? Now I'm getting WAN inside. Now the WAN inside will connect to the firewall first and then I'll make all the changes, or will go to, from outside to inside. I'm talking about from inside to outside also. I just want to know how it works. It will be my end devices. End devices will go to switches. From switch, will I go into the firewall or will I go into the router and then the firewall?
I told you it's depend upon scenario. See, either you can directly, for example, you don't have router, for example, okay?
Okay.
You can directly connect your firewall device with internet. So your inside traffic is going to hit on switch. Switch is forwarding traffic to the L3 firewall device. And now on firewall, you can configure routing, so it can take a decision based on routing table. If there is a NAT, it can take a decision based on translation.
Okay.
If you are using next generation firewall techniques, so yes, you can utilize next generation firewall technique features here. on L3 firewall box. It depends upon scenario. If you want to connect a router, no problem. For example, if you are connecting router, then if you want to connect your firewall box here, and it's L3 firewall box, no problem. You can connect. Depend upon scenario.
But that
What
will
you
ideally
want to-
become like an L2 design, correct? Router and firewall and
No,
switch.
no, it's not L2. Okay, see.
That's
If you
where I
want
got
to
a bit
connect,
confused.
wait, no problem, no problem. Give me some time. Give me some time. Wait. See, if you want to use your L3 firewall box here after router, no problem. You can connect, Mahesh.
Okay.
But you are creating extra overhead, you can say, or extra processing here into this topology.
Yeah.
If traffic is coming from outside, so first router will process this traffic, then firewall will process this traffic. And if you are using this box as a layer 3 firewall box, so you need to configure routing here. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So why you are doing routing process 2 times? Why? That is the reason. You can remove this route appliance. Okay. You can directly connect your firewall box. You can directly connect your firewall box with internet. Okay. Internet. And this portion is what? Switch.
Yes.
The traffic is coming from LAN side, going to hit onto the switch. Switch is forwarding traffic to the firewall, and now firewall is taking decision, routing decision, NAT decision, security policy decision, or next generation firewall features you are using onto the firewall device. No problem. If you are adding extra devices, you are creating overhead in your network. Clear?
Okay. Okay.
So depend upon scenario. If you want filter, for example, if you want filter more security, you can add like router, for example, this is the router, okay, Mahesh.
Yes.
So no problem. You can connect, but my point is what? If traffic is coming, for example, you want to filter your traffic, you want to give filter traffic to your firewall device in case. So you can connect router here, you can configure ACL, you can filter your traffic first, and filter traffic you are sending to the firewall. For example, you don't want to give extra load on your firewall device directly, so you can connect your router, no problem.
Okay.
Clear now?
Yes, sir.
Mahesh,
Yes.
Mahesh.
Yes. Now makes sense. Yes.
Jonas?
Yeah,
Clear?
I have a follow-up question. So,
Sure, you can ask.
well, from my knowledge in networking, can we equally say that layer 3 firewall is just like a kind of a layer 3 switch?
No,
something like that?
no.
No, I'm
No.
not saying they do the same job. I'm just saying that layer 3 switch has the
No,
functionality
switch
of
is a different thing.
router.
Switch is a different thing. L3 firewall box is what? It's a firewall. Actually, we have two type of firewall device, Jonas. Okay, we have port-based firewall, and we have next generation firewall. So Palo Alto is what? Palo Alto is a next generation firewall, and Cisco ASA, it's a port-based firewall. So L3 switch is a different thing. If you talk about firewall only, so we have two type of firewall device: port-based and next generation. Port-based means what? This firewall can take a decision based on L3 and L4 information, just like a router.
Okay.
Clear? Like a Cisco ASA firewall box, it's a port-based firewall. It can take a decision based on L3 and L4. What is L3, L4 means? Jonas?
You mean the OSI model layer, like the network layer and the transport layer?
But what does it mean? Here, it's just a name, but what does it mean? If it can take a decision based on L3 and L4. What is L3 and L4? Vinay?
Oh, I forget. I can't remember.
No. Vinay?
I
Mahesh?
think L3 firewall we means packet the filter, and in L4 we particular protocol block, particular subnet we block.
Okay. Mahesh, you? Ram?
We block on an L4, it is more like you're blocking certain protocols, the UDP part or TCP part, how it is going. Those are the ones that are configured there with security. The L3 talks more about your what to say, the ICMP ping and the IP packets rather. Let's say to for my understanding, I would say the IP part is on the L3, and the end-to-end connection, let's say the TCP packets, UDP packets, those come on the L4. The transport layer. That's what I understand. If correct me, please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, port-based firewall box, it's work with L3 and L4. Simple thing is what? L3 means what? IP address. So it can take a decision on IP, it can take a decision on service or protocol. Jonas, clear?
Yeah.
But Palo Alto, it's a next generation firewall box. So it can take a decision based on malicious information. For example, if anyone trying to access malicious file, malicious application, malicious URL, so next generation firewall can detect. But if you compare with L3 switch, it's a different thing. So it's clear now? Switch is a different thing. Here we are talking about firewall. Clear now?
Oh, yeah.
Ram, any question here? Ram?
No, sir. Clear, sir.
Okay. Now let's talk about capabilities. Okay, here into this slide, I'm using some series. For example, in case if I'm working with PA200, so see guys, this sheet you can download from Google. Okay, like data sheet for firewall devices. So for example, if you have PA200, if I have PA200 in my organization, so this firewall can provide you firewall throughput, 100 Mbps firewall throughput, 50 Mbps is dedicated for threat prevention technique. What is threat prevention technique? So I told you in Palo Alto firewall, we will discuss about security profile concept. Wait. Security profile concept. So these are threat prevention technique. Module number 7 and module number 8, these topics are related with threat prevention technique. So here you can see 50 Mbps dedicated for threat prevention technique, and this firewall can support 64,000 sessions maximum. It has 4 copper gigabit port. If you want to go for higher product, higher device, so you can go with PA200 for example, PA500 for example. Firewall throughput 250 Mbps, 100 Mbps for threat prevention technique. It supports 64,000 session and it has 8 copper gigabit. You can go for the higher series, for example, PA5020. Firewall throughput is what? 5 Gbps, 2 Gbps for threat prevention technique, and it can support approximately 10 lakh sessions. It has 8 SFP port and 12 copper gigabit. My point is what? Every series has its own capabilities. Okay, so it depends upon your scenario, which firewall is suitable. Okay, if you talk about sessions, if you're looking for sessions, we are looking for firewall throughput. If you're looking for port, so you need to check data sheet first. These are hardware appliances. These are what? Hardware appliances. So like other vendor, like Fortinet, like Cisco FTD, like Checkpoint firewall device, like other vendor for Palo Alto is providing VM firewall box also. So either you can go with physical box, this is physical box, or you can go with VM appliances. Like I want to deploy my Palo Alto box in AWS scenario, in Azure network. So yes, you can go with a VM firewall box. In VM firewall box, we have these series, PAVM 500. These are the series for VM firewall box. PAVM 100, PAVM 50. For example, in PAVM 500, app ID firewall throughput is 8 Gbps. Threat prevention throughput is what? 4 Gbps. What is app ID? What is app ID concept? We will discuss here in app ID. In module number 6, we'll focus on what is application identification. But my point is what? Here you can get firewall throughput. So either you can go with Either you can go with physical appliances or you can go with VM appliances. Both options are available in Palo Alto Firewall. Clear? Jonas, Mahesh, Vinay, Ram?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, I have one question, sir.
Sure, Ram.
So, like, will there be any performance difference between like physical box and VM, or like it will?
No. See,
Okay.
the point is what? In case if you want cloud in your cloud environment, in case you are looking for firewall device, so in
Yes, sir.
cloud environment you need a VM firewall box.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's the same function. You can separate it can support, for example, if you go with a physical boxes, see for example 10 lakh sessions. If you talk about firewall throughput, so same kind of options are available in VM. It's just a VM box, Ram, okay?
Yes, sir.
If you talk about firewall throughput, it's the same.
Yes, sir.
And it's depend upon your scenario, okay? It's depend upon your requirement, okay?
Yes, sir.
What firewall throughput you need, what firewall app ID firewall throughput you need, connection per
Yes.
second you need. So it's depend upon your scenario.
Yes, sir.
Clear now?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Vinay, Mahesh, any question?
Sorry, I have a question.
No, sir.
Yeah, please, can you explain the threat prevention throughput in terms of the gigabit per second? So I can see 2, I can see 4 gigabits per second. So is it what is sorry,
You're talking about this option.
yes, especially the 2 gigabits per second. There's
I
5
will
gigabits.
tell you. Into this
Okay.
section, I told you this is the part of threat prevention. So here we can discuss. No problem.
Okay.
Clear?
No, thanks. Yeah.
Right now we are taking a basic idea about the firewall devices. Clear now, everyone? Clear now? We have two firewall.
Yes, yes.
Either you can go with physical appliance or you
Physical
can
or
go
the
with
VM one. Cloud.
VM. Now let's talk about architecture. Everyone. Palo Alto firewall architecture. Can we take a break for 5 minutes? Jonas, Mahesh, Ram, Vinay?
Sure,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay.
Sure,
Okay,
sure.
sir.
Yeah.
Definitely.
5 minute break, okay?
Yeah.
Please turn
Sure.
off your mic. Please turn off your mic.
Okay.
Everyone, can you hear me? Jonas, Mahesh, Ram.
Yes,
Yes,
hear
sir.
you.
Yes, sir.
Can you
I'm
hear you?
here. I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, so let's continue our topic now. Now we can discuss Palo Alto architecture. Okay, so this is complete Palo Alto firewall device. Wait. This is complete Palo Alto firewall device. Any Palo Alto firewall series, PA200, PA5000 series, any firewall device. So complete Palo Alto firewall device is divided into two different planes. The first plane is called control plane. Second plane, we can say data plane. So your management port is a part of control plane. So all the configuration, for example, if I want to configure this complete Palo Alto firewall device, so I can connect my management PC. I can connect my management PC with control plane, with management. So in control plane, we have dedicated CPU, hard disk, and RAM. What about data plane? So data plane we are using for data traffic. For data traffic, for example, LAN traffic, WAN traffic, or DMZ traffic. So in data plane, we have three separate processors. In data plane, we have three separate processors. It's called signature match processor, multi-core security processor, and networking processor. So we have three separate processors in data plane. So whenever traffic will hit on any ingress interface, or whenever traffic will go and hit on interface, firewall will create three copy of this traffic. It will create three copy of this traffic, and it will submit to each engine. It will submit to each processor, and they will process this traffic parallelly. It's not one by one process. They will process this traffic parallelly, not one by one. Clear my point? Mahesh, Jonas, Ram, Vinay. It's
Yes,
not a
yes.
it's not a UTM box. Ram, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Ah,
It's not a UTM box. If you remember, wait. If you guys are familiar with the UTM boxes, let me tell you. UTM, Unified Threat Management. Any idea about UTM, Ram?
No.
UTM. See, in UTM is what? Single box for all solution. So before Palo Alto, or firewall devices company, they were using UTM boxes. UTM box is what? Single box for all solution. So in single box, you will get all your engine. For example, networking engine, IPS engine, okay, firewall engine, for example, multiple antivirus engine, multiple engines you have. So whenever traffic will hit on to this interface, so for example, traffic will hit on to this ingress interface, so it will submit the traffic to the networking engine. It will do some process with the traffic, and it will submit to the next engine. Then it will submit to the next engine, For example, if each engine will take 1 second to process this traffic, in case if each engine is taking 1 second to process this traffic, and it's a one by one process, it's not a parallel process, Mahesh, Vinay, Ram, Jonas, it's not a parallel process, okay? It's a one by one process, everything. So if each engine will take 1 second to process this traffic, so total time it will take 4 seconds, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Total it will take 4 seconds to process this traffic. Jonas, Vinay.
Yep.
That is the issue. Or in case if this engine goes down, then traffic is not passing to another engine. That was the issue. That's why Palo Alto is not using this architecture. Palo Alto is using SP3 architecture to forward the traffic. Palo Alto is using SP3 architecture. It's called single path parallel processing. Everyone, please wait 1 minute. Everyone, can you hear me? Jonas,
Yep.
Manish, Ram?
Yep.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like this SP3 architecture, it is used in Palo Alto or like other vendors also?
No, it's using by any vendor, but
Okay.
it was introduced by Palo Alto.
Okay, sir.
SP3 was introduced by Palo Alto. Now every vendor is using SP3 architecture.
First it was used.
But it's not SP3. In every vendor, you cannot say it's SP3. Okay, they can
Okay,
say
sir.
different name. Okay,
Okay, sir.
they use different name. But now see, what is SP3? Single path parallel processing.
Yes, sir.
So when traffic will hit on any interface, then it will create a 3 copy of this traffic, 3 copy, and it will
Yes.
submit to the each processor, each engine.
Yes, sir.
And what it will do parallel processing, not one by one, parallel processing. So it will take only, Mahesh, it will take only 1 second to process this traffic because they are processing traffic parallelly. Jonas, clear? Vinay?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's simultaneous at the same time.
At the same time, okay? Now
Yes,
let's talk about in detail, okay? Wait. Let's talk about in detail of this Palo Alto SP3 architecture. Let's go with this page, okay? So I told you Palo Alto firewall, complete Palo Alto firewall box is divided into 2 different planes. First, you can say control plane. Your management port is a part of control plane. And second, we have data plane. In data plane, we have 3 separate processor, you can say, or engine, okay? We have 3 separate processor. It's called content processor, or you can say signature match processor. So don't confuse. Either you can say content processor or you can say signature match processor. In what? Security processor, networking processor. Now, let's talk about each processor task, each engine task, you can say. So networking processor is responsible for routing, flow lookup, status counting, NAT, and similar functions are performed on network-specific hardware. So networking processors are responsible for all networking-related tasks like NAT, routing. Okay, user ID. In Palo Alto firewall, we have a concept. We have a concept of user ID concept. See, so for user ID, for app ID, for policy, we have a dedicated processor or engine, you can say, multi-core security processor. For content ID, or you can say for security profile or for content ID. For content ID, we have a dedicated processor. It's called content processor, or you can say signature match processor. Content ID, we have a dedicated processor. What about control plane? So in control plane, we have management processor. Clear now? Jonas, Mahesh, Ram, Vinay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, let's talk about again. Yes, any question? Any question? Okay. Now let's talk about again control plane and data. Okay, again. So I told you Palo Alto is divided into two different planes. It's called control plane and data. So let's talk about control plane again. So control plane only for two traffic used for management. For example, I have a Palo Alto firewall device, and this port is a MGMT port, for example, management. So I can connect my management PC, MGMT PC, with management port, and these are data interfaces. So control plane we are using for only for two traffic, to the firewall traffic, two traffic used for management. So management related task, it's a part of control. Okay, this control plane is also responsible for HA, for high availability configuration. High availability. For example, see, I told you in Palo Alto we will discuss about high availability. Remember? In topic discussion, I told you we'll discuss about high availability, or we will discuss about failover concept. Jonas,
Yeah.
Mahesh, Ram.
Yes.
So if you are working with high availability concept, so in high availability in Palo Alto, to connect two firewall devices through HA link, we need control link and data link. So control link is a part of control plane. So this control plane is also responsible for HA, for high availability. Session synchronization. For example, if traffic is traveling through the firewall box, this box is active, this box is passive. So if traffic is traveling through the firewall box, then firewall will maintain the state of connection in connection table, in state table, in session table, because it's what? It's a stateful firewall device. So this session information will share through this HA2 link. So session synchronization, it's also part of control plane. Mahesh, clear? Ram, Vinay, Jonas.
Sir, once more, sir, please.
Okay. Vinay, clear for you?
Yes.
Ram, Jonas, see, this control plane is responsible for HA. So to connect in HA in high availability, we are using HA1 link and HA2 link. So if you want to configure HA, you need to go with control plane configuration. And in case if traffic is traveling through the appliance, so Palo Alto is what? Palo Alto is a stateful firewall device. Because I told you stateful firewall is a common technique. So Palo Alto is a stateful firewall device. So if traffic is traveling through the appliance, firewall will maintain the state of connection in session table. And this session table information will share through this HA2 link. So this HA2 link is also part of control plane. So session synchronization is a part of control plane. Clear now?
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Everyone? Ram, any question?
Yes, sir.
Vinay, any question?
One question means our control data and control and data will flow on different link or same link in HA technique.
See, data link. Okay, on same interface.
Just means
Vinay,
if any link.
Can you repeat your question again?
Control plane data means data interface data flow on same link or different means we need
two separate link in Palo Alto.
But how it means how it work for HA means high availability, we need to one link is down, can then data flow on
you can go for the backup link. You can go for the HA1 backup link and HA2 backup link. But in Palo Alto, my point is in Palo Alto, we need two separate links. For high availability, we need HA1 and HA2.
Okay.
In case if you're looking for backup link, so yes, you can go for HA1 backup. Then you can go with HA2 backup. So if HA1 link goes down, this HA1 backup link will take the responsibility. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Understand.
But it is mandatory to connect minimum 2 ports. See here we have what? Like if you are working with 48, single port can handle both tasks. Single port. In Cisco ASA, single interface link can handle both the tasks, right? But in Palo Alto, we need 2 separate links. Control link and data link in Palo Alto. Vinay, clear for you?
Yes. Yes. Clear.
Now, next feature we have
So
logging.
this will be like 2 physical connectivities. Is that what we're talking
Yes,
about?
yes,
To the box.
Yes, 2 physical links.
Okay, sir. Okay. Now I'm clear.
Now, next concept is what? Logging. So if you're looking for log messages, okay, if someone will hit on your security policy, if someone will hit on your application ID, someone will hit on VPN, if interface link goes down, up, VPN tunnel down, up. So in case if you are looking for logs, so logging is a part of by default is a part of control plane. So my point is you can connect a switch here in your network and your management port is connected with switch. Your management PC is connected with the switch. And with this switch, you have a connectivity with your logging server, your remote logging server. Either you can store your log in a local database, Ram. You can store all your logs in local storage, local database, no problem. But in case like other vendor, if you want to send all your logs on remote logging servers, like everyone, like for example, you have syslog, or if you have SNMP, for example. So you can put all your remote logging servers in management plane side or in control plane side. By default, logging is a part of control. Clear, Ram?
Yes, sir.
You can put all your remote logging servers in management plane side or in control plane side. But in case in your network, your syslog server, your SNMP server, in case in your network, syslog server or your SNMP server is a part of DMZ network, for example, is a part of DMZ. Here you have your syslog or your SNMP. So you can change this behavior, no problem. I told you. So by default, logging is a part of control by default. But if you want to change this behavior, for example, my logging servers, it's a part of, for example, fast Ethernet 0/3. So you can change this behavior. I will show you. In practical, I will show you. Clear now my point? But by default, logging is a part of management plane or control plane. Mahesh, clear? Jonas?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Jonas, it's
Yeah,
clear for you?
Yeah, it's clear.
Now, what about signature update? Signature update. For example, see, Palo Alto is a next generation firewall. So this firewall can detect latest attack, malicious information, latest application, latest malicious link. It can detect. But for this, you need to download latest signatures from updates.paloaltonetworks.com. You need to download. So for signature update, see, signature update is a by default. It's a part of control plane. So what you can do, you can connect a separate. You can take a separate ISP connection. This is Wi-Fi modem, okay? You can connect a separate ISP connection in control plane side. So like for example, this machine, if this machine is trying to go on internet side, this management PC, for example, so this machine is required IP address, mask, gateway, DNS entry. Same, if this Palo Alto firewall box is trying to go outside to download latest signature update, this Palo Alto is also required, or this management PC is Management port is also required, IP address, mask, gateway, and DNS entry. So signature update by default, it's a part of control plane. But in case in your scenario, for example, you're not using any ISP connection in control plane side, for example. You have a single ISP connection and it's a part of data interface. In your network, you have a single ISP connection and it's a part of data interface. So you can change this behavior, no problem. For example, to download latest signature update, I want to use this interface, fast Ethernet 0/2. Fast Ethernet 0/2. So you can change this behavior, no problem. But by default, signature updates is a part of control plane. Clear now?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
What about data interfaces? So data interface, what? It is for LAN network, WAN network, or DMZ. Now, Palo Alto operating system is known as PAN-OS. Like in Fortinet, you can say FortiOS. In Checkpoint, you can say Gaia operating system. In Cisco, you can say iOS. In Palo Alto operating system is known as PAN-OS. And this OS is what? It's a Linux-based operating system.
Oh, sorry, I have a quick question.
Yes, sure.
Sorry, I'm drawing you backward. You said the data interface is for LAN 1, and what is the third thing you mentioned?
DMZ network. See, for example, if you want to connect your LAN network, it's a part of data.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Palo Alto is a zone-based firewall. So remember always Palo Alto, Checkpoint Firewall Box, and Cisco Firepower Threat Defense. These firewall devices are called JBF firewall device, or you can say zone-based firewall. So in case if you are working with any zone-based firewall, so you need to configure everything manually. For example, you need to create zone manually. If you want to allow traffic from one zone to another zone, for example, this is Palo Alto Firewall Box. If you want to allow traffic from one zone, from LAN zone to WAN zone, yes, you need to configure a security policy manually. It's not like a Cisco ASA. Remember our Cisco ASA discussion, everyone? In Cisco ASA, by default, traffic is allowed from higher security level to lower security level. No need to configure any access policy. But in Cisco ASA, remember, everyone?
Yes.
In
Yes, sir.
Cisco ASA, no need to configure any access policy. By default, traffic is allowed. But in case if you are working with any zone-based firewall, like Palo Alto or Checkpoint or Cisco Firepower Threat Defense, so there is no any default concept like Cisco ASA. In Cisco ASA, if you type inside INSIDE on any interface, the interface will get automatically, it will take a security level 100. But in Palo Alto, no. You need to configure everything manually. Zone, you need to create manually. You need to put your interface into the respective zone manually. If you want to allow traffic from one zone to another zone, you need to configure security policy manually. So Palo Alto is a zone-based firewall. Palo Alto is an object-oriented firewall. Not only Palo Alto, okay. If you go with Fortinet, Cisco ASA, Cisco Firepower Threat Defense, Checkpoint, these are called what? These are called object-oriented firewall. So here we can create object. And
What
these
about Fortinet?
Fortinet is not a zone-based firewall device, Mahesh.
Okay.
Fortinet is not a zone-based firewall device. In Fortinet, concept is what? In Fortinet, if you want to allow traffic from one interface to another interface. Mahesh, clear?
Yes, sir.
In Fortinet, concept is what? If you want to allow traffic from one interface to another interface, you can configure policy. But in Palo Alto, in Checkpoint, in Cisco FTD, concept is what? Concept is if you want to allow traffic from one zone to another zone.
Okay.
Now, so Palo Alto, Checkpoint, Cisco ASA, Cisco FTD, Fortinet, these are what? Object-oriented firewalls. So here we can create objects, and these objects we can use in our configuration. In our
So when
policy
I talk about, sorry to interrupt. When I
No,
talk
no.
about zones, zones are like what I create within my DMZs. This zone is like internal, syslog, those kind of stuff.
Yes, for example, for your LAN network, you can create a zone first, okay? Like
Yes.
LAN zone. And this interface, for example, 0/0 interface, you can put in LAN zone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
For
Yes.
DMZ, you can put your interface in DMZ zone. For example, this is 0/1. So you can create a zone first. In practical scenario, I will tell you. Right now, I'm telling the story.
Okay.
Nice. Clear?
Yes, sir.
In
Yes.
practical, you will get a clear idea.
Sure, definitely.
Right now, I'm telling only story. Jonas,
Okay,
clear
sir.
for you? Ram, any question? Vinay?
No, sir, no question.
No question.
Okay, so interface should be configured. Interfaces should be configured to respective zone. I told you Palo Alto is a zone-based firewall device. So you can create zone manually. You can put your interface into the respective zone manually. By default, okay, so by default, any services like ping, SSH, and HTTPS are not enabled on data interfaces. This is what data interface, data interface, data interface. So nothing is allowed, okay? Any services like ping, SSH, HTTPS are not enabled on data interfaces. What about management port? By default, only ping, SSH, and HTTPS service are enabled on management. So what you can do, you can connect your management PC. From management PC, you can verify your connectivity. You can go with ping command. If you want to manage this Palo Alto Firewall to CLI, you can go with SSH. If you want to manage your Palo Alto box to a graphical page, you can go with HTTPS. So by default, these three services are enabled on management port. Security policy should be configured to communicate between multiple zones. Yes, in Palo Alto firewall, if you want to allow traffic from one zone to another zone, you can configure security policy. In Fortinet, firewall policy. In Checkpoint, access control policy. In Cisco ASA, ACL. Now, traffic is always a unidirectional from source to destination. So if you want to allow traffic from LAN to WAN, you need separate policy. And if you want to allow traffic from WAN to LAN, you need separate policy. So traffic is always a unidirectional from source to destination. Now, in case if you are using policy-based forwarding, Ram, Vinay, Mahesh, Jonas, in Palo Alto, if you want to allow traffic from one zone to another zone, you can configure security policy, right? Right, everyone, I told you. You can
Yes.
configure security policy. But in Palo Alto, we have one more concept, PBR, or you can say PBF, policy-based forwarding. So if you are using policy-based forwarding, if you are using policy-based forwarding and security policy also. So if traffic will hit on Palo Alto firewall device, so Palo Alto will check this traffic information in PBF first. In policy-based forwarding, it will check. If it is available, it will take a decision. Okay, if traffic information is not available in policy-based forwarding, then it will go and check in security policies. So the first priority is what? Policy-based forward. Clear? Ram,
Yes.
Mahesh,
Yes.
Jonas, Vinay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Ram,
Yes.
Yes, sir.
yes. In security policy, you block some application. But in PBF, if it is allowed, it will take a decision, allow. So my point is what? Policy-based forwarding can be done, which overrides security policy. I will tell you what is policy-based forwarding. Okay, now wait. Now we can focus on packet flow. Let's continue this topic in next class, everyone. Okay, everyone.
Yeah.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
continue this topic, packet flow, in next class. Our timing is fixed at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Okay, everyone.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Let's continue this topic in next class. Bye, guys. Take care, everyone.
Just need to information. Where is our slide for this class and notes?
Slides is already shared with you. Please check mail ID.
Okay.
So we'll
And
get the
notes?
video of this class.
Okay, everyone. Let's continue our topic of next class. Okay. Bye,
Sure,
guys.
sir.
Take care, everyone.
Yes,
You
sir.
too, sir.
Bye.
Have
Bye,
a good
everyone.
weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.